We're going to Mars. It's going to happen. But there have been plenty of problems, setbacks, and concerns, things that NASA, SpaceX, engineers and researchers like me haven't figured out yet. And a bunch of these people are working on the engines and the spacecraft, how to get there and back. But my passion is to figure out how we protect our astronauts on their missions. Why? Because it's going to take between 6 and 8 months just to get to Mars. And that's a problem because after only 10 days in space, astronauts lose 12% of their cardiac muscle. And after 6 months in space, astronauts lose about 40% of their skeletal muscle. That means that if a healthy 40-year-old takes a trip to Mars, they'll come back with the strength of an 80-year-old. Our muscles are designed to be active and healthy in our 1G environment right here on Earth. Without stress and weight, our muscles begin to atrophy and die. Astronauts currently aboard the International Space Station are required to exercise 2.5 hours a day, 6 days a week, just to maintain muscle mass. And how do they do that in zero gravity? Like here, they use stationary bikes, treadmills, weight machines, but they look nothing like what we're used to. They're outfitted with bungee cords and vacuum cylinders, so the astronauts can be tethered to the weight they need. But still, these exercises aren't enough. Astronauts return to Earth with significant muscle loss. I want to know why this happens. I'm figuring out how muscle DNA and proteins change during prolonged spaceflight. Most research points to an accumulation of free radicals or oxidative stress as causing muscle damage and death. Our muscles deal with oxidative stress all the time. Even short-term increases, like during exercise, can make our muscles grow back stronger. But under constant free fall, there are just too many free radicals, and our body can't deal with that. So to study this, in my lab, I use a rotating cell culture system designed by NASA to mimic the zero gravity and constant free fall that astronauts experience in space. I grow muscle fibers in these bioreactors, and I look for signs of muscle damage, like breaks in double-stranded DNA or an accumulation of free radicals. I investigate cellular pathways that cause this damage. And I'm looking at new therapeutics like mesobiliverdin, produced right here at Utah State University, and known antioxidants like vitamin C and E. My goals are to understand the cause of muscle damage and muscle atrophy, and to find ways to promote muscle health in space. So I love everything about this project. It just defines me as a biomedical engineer. Using a bioreactor requires me to consider things like velocity, shear stress, surface chemistry, some of these fundamental engineering principles. But at the same time, I'm trying to mimic the conditions that muscles experience on Earth and in space, but in my lab. So that part requires me to tap into my biomedical training. I have got to consider physiology, anatomy, biochemistry. And I'm so excited to be leading this research. But every now and then, I look at that rotating cell culture system out of the corner of my eye, going around and around and around, and I experience flashbacks to when I was an undergraduate in engineering, times when I felt like I was in zero gravity, in free fall, without anything to tie me down. And yet here I am, a tenure-track female faculty member in biological engineering, and sometimes I have to wonder, how did I get from there to here? So here's my story. Freshman year, I'm excited to be in college, and I'm even more excited to be a bioengineering major. And then I'm flooded by all of these invitations to the right things that I should do to be successful. Join the Bioengineering Club, do outreach activities, form study groups, and of course, join the Society of Women Engineers. Activities where I can network, socialize, do homework together, speak publicly. Basically anything an introverted engineer like me hates. And so I retreat. Throughout my freshman and sophomore years, I'm not doing well in classes, I'm insecure. I became untethered to my school, my major, and my classmates. I was in a full-on free fall in my own personal zero gravity, but here on Earth. I needed something to weigh me down, like what's on those treadmills on the space station, and I needed something fast. Then as a junior, I found an opportunity to do research. I found a mentor to take a chance on me, and I finally found my bungee cord, something to latch onto, and without a doubt, it changed my life. I did research with this mentor while I finished my undergraduate degree, and even after I graduated. And finally, I felt like I was thriving. My grades improved, my life improved, I chose activities that fulfilled me, and I realized that I had made the right decision as a freshman to major in bioengineering. From there, the ball kept rolling, and I was accepted into a PhD program in biomedical engineering, and I found another mentor who took a chance on me and challenged me every step of the way. When it came time for me to make my next career move, my choice was clear. I, too, wanted to be a faculty member at a research institution. I wanted to be like the mentors who finally brought me down to earth. Even though my first steps as an engineer were faulty and imperfect, I don't question whether I can be successful in this position. I just know that I need to do what needs to be done. But my story is rare. According to our National Science Foundation, women earn about half of the PhDs in science and engineering, yet only 21% of full science professors and 5% of full engineering professors are female. Here at Utah State, for example, out of all of our engineering faculty, 13% of us are female, and out of all of our full engineering professors, 3% are female. So what's different for me? With stats like this, why would I want this job? One of the biggest reasons that I'm standing here in front of you publicly speaking about my research on muscle health in space is because I had successful female mentors who looked like me, successful in their jobs with successful lives to match. My undergraduate mentor was Dr. Shamala Harris, here with her two daughters, Kamala and Maya. And my graduate mentor was Dr. Anita Mahadevan Jansen, here with her children, Kiana and Arvin. I had real mentoring relationships with women of color who succeeded in science and engineering in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I know that I can succeed in my job because they did. So, with that, my message is this. To everyone in charge of hiring new employees, please look for more than the quantifiable traits that you might see on a resume. Try to find people who are diverse in many aspects. To the students out there, look for mentors who challenge you and inspire you, who show you more than science or engineering. Look for ways to tether yourselves to their exciting research and their out-of-this-world machinery. And to the women out there, I suggest finding a supportive group of people. My group helps me choose the blazers that look right and discuss things like, wait, was that sexist? And to all the men out there, especially the white men in STEM, I'm not here to blame you or threaten you for taking all of the jobs. I've been mentored by you, I work with you, I teach you, and I'm even married to one of you. Instead, I encourage you to embrace and be proud of the things that might make you different, whether it's how you enjoy baking homemade breads for your coworkers or listening to Harry Potter in German. Show your students and colleagues that there's more to you than what we might see and perceive. I get to lead cutting-edge research and contribute meaningfully to society because my mentors took a chance on an Indian-American female scientist and engineer. In bringing me down to earth, their lessons have extended well beyond my research. Their lessons have changed my life. I now get the opportunity to take a chance on my own students, and I can't wait to see where they end up. Maybe Mars, and maybe even beyond.